want to begin our shmooze with a story that happened with our family just a number of years ago. Maybe you're 14 now, 14, 15. So this is taking place about 8, 9 years ago. It was one of those Sundays. And for those of the Rebbeim who have younger children or had younger children, you'll remember that Sunday, and perhaps you remember when you were younger, because we're actually talking about you now. It's difficult sometimes on a Sunday to figure out what to do. You know, and then the line comes, we're bored, I'm bored, can we go bowling? We just went bowling last week. Can we go to the batting range? We went to the batting range 2 weeks ago. So, and you know, bowling alleys cost money. You have a family, it's $60, $70. You can't go every Sunday. So I'm sort of starting to rack my brain. What can we do on a Sunday? We can bang, Rabbi Skolnick, you can bang your head against the wall. That's one option. So that we did 3 days ago. So what are we going to do this Sunday? So I had an idea, and the idea was as follows. When I was younger, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, I went to a camp called Camp Na'arim. Rav Shmuel Kunda, Zechrono Livracha. Perhaps some of the Rebbeim remember that great camp. So the great night activity, or the best night activity in my opinion, of the camp of the whole summer was called the bean hunt. Has anybody ever been involved in a bean hunt? Well, maybe now you will be. What's a bean hunt? So what happens is as follows. The camp takes probably thousands, maybe tens of thousands of beans, and they color them different colors. They're spray painting them, gold and silver, black, white, speckled, and they scatter them all over the 4 baseball fields and the quad, an enormous amount of area. And us 9, 10-year-olds are given big cups, almost knapsacks, and we have to run out and collect the beans. And the bunk that collects the most beans with the right color, because every color is worth a little bit more than the other color. The gold is like amazing. The diamond, this fancy color that they gave, it's like winning the lottery when you're 9 years old. So we're running around collecting these beans, and we're stacked with the beans, and then we count the beans, and we get our points. And the bunk with the most points that spends 3 hours on their knees in the dirt in the baseball field, gets a $3 gift certificate, go to the ice cream store up the block. But for us, it was worth it, right? So I said to myself that Sunday, and it was really, the kids were bored. And I said, Mayor, Yehuda, Shmuel, Chava, get all the kids from the block. We live on Highgate Terrace in Bergenfield. We're having a bean hunt. We're having a bean hunt on Highgate. Ellie Mary, you might have been there. I don't know if you remember this. You were invited for sure. You should have come. And I go to Pathmark. No longer around. I'll have a show. I went to Pathmark. And I buy a lot of beans. A lot. I mean, I would guess probably 3,000 beans. And I take some spray paint and I'm painting the beans. It was unbelievable. And they gather, all the friends come. We must have 15, maybe 20 kids. They're in our house. And I say, okay, don't look out the windows, close your eyes. I don't even know what's going on. I give everyone a big cup. And we scatter the beans all over our front yard, backyard, side yard. There's beans everywhere. And I say to the kids, maybe you were 5 or 6, 7. I say to you, go outside with your cup. You're going to gather beans. There are beans all over the place. The gold is worth the most. Then comes the black, then the white, then the speckled. Run out, gather the beans, and we're going to count the beans. And the one who has the most beans, worth the most points, is going to get a special prize. And it was unbelievable. They ran out, and they spent an hour. They were here for an hour, and then when they finished, I took more beans, and I put them outside. It was one of the best Sundays we've ever had. We didn't have to go to the bowling alley. We didn't have to go to the batting range. It wasn't $70, $100, for $4, $6. I had the whole 15, 20 kids from the block. Everybody was excited. It was unbelievable. And I'm thinking to myself, after the day, and all the parents are saying, wow, Rabbi Weiss, it was amazing. Maybe you want to run a camp on Sundays, This is pretty cool, right? I'm thinking, what am I going to do? What was the other night? I'm thinking, what were the other night activities in Camp Narim? And Sunday passed, Monday, I'm thinking I was on a high. I was like, wow, I'm pretty good with kids, I'm pretty good at this. Tuesday night, there was a big rain. One of these big rains. Wednesday morning, I wake up, I come out of my house, and I notice there's things growing in the yard. And I look in the backyard, and there's things growing all over the place. I'm like, What in the world's growing in my yard? It's growing in my yard. And I go closer, and guess what I saw? Black beans, white beans. Not the ones that I spray painted. That magical I'm not. But all the beans that I planted are growing in my yard. I didn't feel so smart after that. But one thing I did learn that Sunday to Wednesday, and it's something that you can learn as well, that there's one guarantee in life. It's a guarantee. If you plant it, it will grow. And what you plant, that is what will grow. There is no such thing as putting an apple seed in the ground and getting a banana tree. There's no such thing. You put apple seeds in the ground, you're going to get an apple tree. You put beans in the ground, and white beans, and that's what's going to get. So for the next few hours that day, or maybe later that day, I was pulling up the roots from my front yard and my backyard and my side yard, thinking to myself, maybe I'm not so good with kids. Not such a great idea. But the lesson was learned. What we plant is for sure what we will get, what we will reap. And sometimes, as in my case, it took a few days. I didn't realize what was happening under the ground. I didn't know, I had no idea it was even having any impact at all, but it was a surprise. It wasn't such a good surprise in my case, but a surprise nonetheless. And that is the lesson, I think, perhaps we can say, of this time period called Sfiras HaOmer. You know, what Sfiras are we counting? I think from what I hear, there's a Mets game coming. Is there a Mets game? Is it next Thursday? Lag BaOmer, Mirz Hashem. Mets fans in the back. I see the Yankee fans on this side. Is that how it's split up the middle? That's the Yankees? When I was younger, when I was your age, maybe a little younger in elementary school, 8th, 7th, 8th grade, we counted all year. The whole year we were counting. At least 3 months before Sfiras HaOmer, we were already counting till Lag BaOmer. By us, we weren't counting to Shavuos, we were counting to Lag BaOmer. Because Lag BaOmer was a big day. What was the big day? We went out, we didn't go to a Mets game. We were from Brooklyn, we weren't so fancy. We went to a baseball field, local baseball field, and the Rabbi played baseball with us. And it was just awesome to see, and that whole chevra, we would make the teams, it was great. And that's what we were longing for, we were counting towards. That Lag BaOmer trip. What does it mean to count? Why is there a mitzvah to count? What does counting mean? Anybody want to suggest? When we count towards something, what are we showing? What are we showing? What's your name next to Mayor? What's your name again? Yeah, next to Mayor. What does counting mean, Shaya? No, I know how to count. I know how to count. But what does counting mean? What does it mean to count? What are you? What? No, I'm asking you. I know Mayor knows. I discussed this with Mayor last night. I'm asking you, Shaya. Come on, Shaya. What does it mean to count? When you count, when you're excited about something, in the purple, you was going to say loud? Yeah. You can think. Want it to come faster. You don't count towards something you're not excited about. When you're into something, that's when you count. Going to Eretz Yisrael, you start counting down the days. Shai, you with me? Okay. Counting means longing. Counting means wanting. And the interesting thing is we have this mitzvah called Sfiras HaOmer. We're planting now. Counting means to plant. It means to long towards something, to want something. Can anybody tell me another place in the Torah where there's a mitzvah to count? Because you know what's important? There's a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos that says as follows. It's a funny Mishnah. It's not exactly clear what it means. Hakol tzafoi v'harashus nesuna. Hakol tzafoi v'harashus nesuna. What do those words mean? Hakol tzafoi. So the truth is, it's a philosophical statement. It's one of those difficult things that keep some philosophers up late at night. I have no problem going to sleep because of this, but some people, it bothers some people. Hakol tzafoi means HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows everything. Everything is preordained. There's nothing that we're going to do or going to say that Hashem doesn't know about. What does Harashus Nesuna mean? It means even though HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's going to be, I still have the choice to decide what I'm going to do. That's a funny thing. Hashem knows.